If you had told me I'd spend 2 months in a nursing home, I would have laughed. I never imagined I'd end up in a place like that, not yet, at least. But life doesn't ask for permission before it teaches you lessons. It puts you in places you never expected and forces you to see things you never noticed before. At first, I thought it would be temporary, just a brief stay to recover. But those 2 months changed me in ways I never saw coming. I saw people who had been there for years, some who had family visiting regularly, and others who had been forgotten. I watched once independent men and women now needing help for the simplest tasks, people who once built businesses, raised families, and travelled the world, now waiting for someone to help them out of bed. I heard stories of deep regret, but I also saw something else: wisdom. The hardest part of aging isn't just getting older. It's realising what you should have done differently while you still had the chance. During my time there, I learned lessons that no book, no doctor, and no amount of money can prepare you for. I saw what truly matters at the end of life, and what doesn't. I met people who had it all, only to realise that they had chased the wrong things. And I met people who had nothing, but carried more peace than the richest among them. These are the 7 hardest lessons about aging that no one talks about. Some of them are painful. Some will change the way you see your own life. But if you listen carefully, these lessons might just give you something most people never get: a second chance before it's too late. Let's start with the first lesson, one that's more dangerous than any disease: loneliness. Lesson number 1. Loneliness is the silent killer. How isolation creeps in and steals more than you think. Before I spent 2 months in a nursing home, I thought loneliness was just a fleeting sadness, something you could brush off with a good book or a sunny day. I was dead wrong. Loneliness isn't an emotion. It's a slow, insidious disease that gnaws at you, especially after 70. In that home, I saw it claim lives more ruthlessly than any illness on their charts. There was an old man, late 80s, hunched in a chair by the window. He hadn't had a visitor in over a year. I built a business, made a fortune, planned for everything, he told me, his voice flat but his hands shaking. Except this: I never built a family to share it with. Across the hall, a woman perched by the entrance daily, watching strangers come and go. She'd outlived her husband, her sisters, her best friends. I didn't expect it to feel so empty, she whispered, being the last one standing. These weren't rare stories. Every room held echoes of the same quiet despair. What hit me hardest wasn't just their solitude, but how it ravaged their bodies. Loneliness doesn't just dim your spirit, it accelerates your decline. Research backs this up. Chronic isolation boosts your risk of dementia by 50%, heart disease by 29%, and slashes years off your life, like smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I watched it unfold. Residents who stopped eating because no one shared their table, who stopped walking because no one cared to join them, who faded away because no one noticed. Their eyes grew vacant, their voices frail, their will to live crumbling under the weight of being forgotten. Why it's worse than you imagine, and what's at stake? For seniors, loneliness isn't loud. It's a thief in the night. It spikes stress hormones, weakens your immune system, and leaves you vulnerable to infections that a connected life might fend off. I saw folks cling to hope at first. Maybe a son would call next week. Maybe a grandchild would drop by. But as weeks turned to months, that hope withered, and their health followed. One woman, barely 75, shrank before my eyes, her appetite gone, her steps unsteady, because her daughter's "I'll visit soon" never came. The antidote: build connection before it's too late. Here's the kicker: most of these lonely souls had families, kids, grandkids, nieces, who were just too busy. Too busy to call, too busy to stop by, too busy to grasp that 5 minutes of chatter could restart a fading heart. If you've got an aging parent or grandparent you've let slip off your radar, pick up the phone today. Ask about their old stories, the time they met your mum, the dog they loved as a kid. One visit, one you're not forgotten, can light up their world. And if you're the one getting older, don't wait for loneliness to knock. Build your lifeline now. Join a card group at the senior centre, bridge or poker, whatever stirs you. Volunteer at the library. Reading to kids keeps you sharp and needed. Chat up your neighbour over the fence. Those small talks add up. Loneliness creeps in slowly. One missed call, one next time at a time. So fight it with small, steady steps. Your health, your mind, your very life depend on it. Lesson number 2. Your health is more valuable than your wealth. The cost of trading vitality for dollars. In that nursing home, I met a man who'd once had it all: big business, beachfront properties, trips to Paris. Now, he sat propped in bed, unable to spoon soup to his mouth without a nurse's hand. "I chased money my whole life, thinking it'd set me free," he said, his voice a rasp. "But what's freedom when you can't walk to the door?" His wealth mocked him. Piles of cash he couldn't spend, dreams he couldn't chase, all because his body had cashed out first. Everywhere I looked, the story repeated. A woman who'd climbed corporate ladders now leaned on a walker, regretting late nights over salads she skipped. A former mechanic, hands once strong as steel, trembled as he fumbled with a fork, years of ignored back pain catching up. These weren't just physical falls, they were lives undone by a bet that wealth mattered more than wellness. They'd worked grueling hours, shrugged off aches, delayed doctors, always banking on later to live well. Later never showed up. The brutal truth you can't outrun. Neglecting your health isn't a slow fade, it's a cliff. Small habits pile up. Skipping walks for desk time, grabbing fast food over veggies, dismissing that knee twinge as just age. By 70, those choices hit like a freight train. Heart disease creeps in from years of stress and greasy takeout. Diabetes festers from sugary comforts ignored. Joints seize from sitting too long. I saw residents who'd trade every dime for one more year of strength to stroll the park, hug a grandkid without wincing, taste steak instead of pureed mush. Their regret wasn't lost money, it was lost ability. Protect your real fortune, starting today. Your body's your truest treasure. Guard it fiercely. Move daily, even if it's just a shuffle around the block. It keeps your heart pumping and joints loose. Eat like your future's on the line. Swap chips for carrots, soda for water, because every bite builds tomorrow's you. Don't dodge the doctor. Those minor pains could be warnings. Catch them early, and you might dodge the wheelchair. Stress less. Try deep breaths or a quiet porch sit. It's as vital as diet. I vowed in that home, I won't wait for a breakdown to care. If you can still climb stairs, savour a meal, dance a little, cherish it. Money buys pills, but only health buys life. Start now, not when the nurse is spoon-feeding you regrets. Lesson number 3. Losing your independence is worse than you imagine. When freedom slips away, piece by piece. I never grasped how precious independence was until I saw it vanish in that nursing home. A retired teacher, sharp as a tack, told me, "I shaped minds for 40 years. Now I beg for help to tie my shoes." Her tone was calm, but her eyes betrayed the sting of it, needing a stranger to run her life. Another man, a globetrotter in his prime, stared at his shaky hands. "Lifting a cup used to be nothing," he said. "Now it's a mountain." These were people who'd ruled their worlds, reduced to passengers in their own stories. It sneaks up fast. First, it's lugging groceries that tires you out. Then, standing from the couch takes a grunt. Soon, driving's a gamble. Vision blurs, reflexes lag. Before long, you're not cooking. Someone's microwaving your meals. Clothes, a nurse picks them. Choices shrink to chicken or fish on a tray. I saw residents wake up one day and realise their lives weren't theirs anymore. A fear that haunts every senior who dreads the day they can't manage alone. The dominoes that topple your autonomy. It's not just age, it's neglect. Skimp on exercise and muscles wither. A fool's all it takes to land you in care. Let your mind idle. No puzzles, no chats, and memory slips, leaving you unfit to decide. Ignore that hip stiffness and surgery looms, chaining you to a bed. I met folks who'd stayed independent longer, active, engaged, proactive, and others who'd coasted, only to crash when frailty hit. The gap was stark. One group still shuffled to bingo, the other stared at walls. Fight to keep your life yours. You've got power now, use it. Walk daily, 15 minutes keeps strength alive. Add a cane if you must, but move. Stretch those joints, arm circles, leg lifts to fend off stiffness. Challenge your brain, crosswords, a new recipe, anything to spark it. A sharp mind steers its own ship. If stairs feel shaky, install a rail. Small fixes beat big losses. Eat protein, eggs, beans to fuel your muscles. Weakness isn't inevitable. I learned this. Independence isn't guaranteed, it's earned daily. Once it's gone, it's a ghost you chase. Act now and you'll keep calling the shots, not begging for them. Lesson number 5. The stuff you own won't matter. The memories will when everything you've chased turns to dust. In that nursing home, I expected tales of glory, big houses, shiny cars, fat bank accounts. Instead, I got silence about stuff and whispers about what was lost. A man who'd owned a sprawling mansion now lived in a 10 by 10 room. Bed, chair, a cracked frame with a faded photo of his late wife. I spent decades filling that house with furniture, art, nonsense, he said, his voice hollow. But in the end, the only thing I wanted was one more day with her, laughing on the porch, not counting my investments. His eyes drifted to that photo and I saw it. All his wealth was a cruel joke, useless without the people who'd made it mean something. Then there was a woman, meticulous planner, who'd saved every penny for a golden retirement, new kitchen gadgets, a cushy RV, the works. She showed me a picture of the RV, parked somewhere sunny, her dream ride. "Never took it out," she muttered. "Kept waiting for the perfect time, then my knees gave out, my lungs followed. Now it's rusting in some lot, and I'm here." Her hands clenched the armrests, knuckles white with a rage she couldn't voice. She'd hoarded for a future that slipped away, and the stuff she'd prized sat mocking her out of reach. Walk the halls, and you'd see it everywhere. Closets of designer clothes no one wore, bank statements no one bragged about, trinkets collecting dust. No one cared about their old Lexus or the china they'd fought to inherit. What they talked about, if they talked at all, were the moments they'd let slip. The fishing trip with their dad they'd skipped for overtime. The holiday they'd missed to close a deal. The quiet nights with a spouse they traded for TV. The happiest clung to memories like lifelines, a daughter's giggle, a friend's bad joke, while the regretful stared at walls, haunted by what they'd ignored for things that turned to ash. The gut punch. You can't take it with you, but regret stays. Here's the brutal truth. Every dollar you've stacked, every gadget you've coveted, every status symbol you've polished, it's all landfill fodder when you're gone. I met a guy who'd owned 3 vacation homes. Now he couldn't afford the dignity of standing to pee without help. "I'd burn it all," he spat, "for one more walk on that beach with my boys." Another woman, once a fashion queen, wept over a photo album. Not her wardrobe, but the picnics she'd skipped to shop. Stuff fades, memories endure. And when you're staring down your last days, it's not the leather couch you'll miss, it's the people who sat on it, the stories you never made the time to hear. The science backs it up too. Studies say people who chase material goals over relationships die lonelier, sicker, faster. Stress from that grind spikes cortisol, wrecks your heart, steals your sleep. Meanwhile, those who prioritize connection live longer, up to 7 years more, because love, laughter, shared time, they're the real medicine. In that home, I saw the proof. The rich ones withered, clutching bank slips, while the memory makers held on, frail but alive with something worth keeping. Make it count. Before the clock stops. Stop chasing junk. Start chasing life. Call your son, even if he's 500 miles away. Ask about his day, not his paycheck. Those talks stick. Take the damn trip, screw the budget, rent a cheap cabin, feel the wind. You'll remember the campfire, not the cost. Dig out that old guitar, play a shaky tune with your grandkid. They'll laugh at your fumbles, and that's gold. Write a letter to your best friend, pen and paper, not a text. Tell them what they've meant. It'll outlast your car. If you're young, quit stockpiling for a someday retirement. Spend a weekend with your parents now. They won't be there forever. If you're older, ditch the clutter. Give it away. Free yourself. Make room for people. In that home, I learned the hardest way. Everything you own ends up in someone else's garage sale. But a memory, a real, messy, human one, that's yours till the end. Don't wake up in a sterile room wishing you'd lived instead of collected. Start today or regret it forever. Lesson number 6. Talking is more important than you realise. The silence that suffocates and the words that saved the nursing home was a tomb of silence. Not because people had nothing to say, but because no one was left to hear it. A 90-year-old woman, hair like snow, sat by her window, clutching a phone that never rang. Talking used to calm me, she said, voice cracking. Now it's all texts, little hearts, no voices. Her kids sent emojis from lives too full to include her, and she'd stare at those dots, wondering when words went extinct. Another man, widower, sat rigid in his chair, eyes locked on the door. My wife and I talked about everything, stupid stuff, big stuff, he said. Now my kids are too busy, and I've got no one. His hands twisted a napkin to shreds, a mute scream for someone to just listen. Everywhere, the same ache. A woman who'd raised 4 kids alone now mumbled to herself, her family's "I'll call later," a promise never kept. A man who'd led boardrooms whispered stories to the air. His grandkids preferred screens to his voice. Silence wasn't peace. It was a slow chokehold. I'd see them light up when I stopped to chat. 5 minutes about the weather or their old dog, and their shoulders would lift, their eyes sharpen. Talking wasn't just noise. It was proof they still existed. Why words are life and silence is death. This isn't fluff. Conversation is survival. Studies hit hard. Regular talks slash dementia risk by 40%. Every chat sparks your brain, keeps it firing. It drops stress. Your nervous system unwinds hearing a human voice, not a beep. It fights loneliness, the killer we've already dissected. I saw it play out. The talkers held on, frail, sure, but alive, while the silent ones sank, minds fogging, bodies folding. One woman told me her secret. She'd call her niece weekly just to ramble about soap operas. Keeps me sane, she grinned. Another guy swapped war tales with a janitor. His heart rate steadied, his sleep deepened. But the flip side? Brutal. Silence breeds despair. Your brain stalls, your blood pressure climbs, your immune system quits. I watched a man stop speaking after months of no calls. His appetite vanished. His steps faltered. He was gone in weeks. Families didn't get it. A love you text isn't love. It's a cop-out. Real voices, cracked, tired, odd, alive, carry weight no screen can match. And for seniors, already teetering on the edge of being forgotten, that weight's the difference between fading and fighting. Speak up before the line goes dead. If you've got an aging parent, grandparent, friend, call them. Not a "how's it going" text. Pick up the damn phone. Ask about their first job, their worst date, that time they crashed the car. Listen, laugh, or linger. 5 minutes can restart their pulse, an hour can rewrite their week. My uncle's 82. I call him Sundays, hear his fishing yarns. He says it's better than his pills. Don't wait for them to beg. Busy or not, you're their lifeline. If you're older, don't sit mute, Reach out. Call your buddy from the old plant. Swap gripes about the weather. Join a coffee clatch at the diner. Strangers become friends fast. Corner your mailman. Ask his name. Small talks build. I met a woman who'd phone her sister daily just to bicker about recipes. It kept her sharp, kept her here. Get a cheap recorder. Dictate your life. Your voice matters, even solo. The gut punch. Those nursing home folks had love, buried under busy lives that forgot to speak it. Don't let your people die waiting for your voice, or yours fade waiting for theirs. Talk now, or mourn the silence when it's all you've got left. Lesson number 7. Time runs out faster than you think. The lie of later that haunts you forever. In that nursing home, time wasn't a friend. It was a thief, and everyone knew it too late. A man by the window, 85, traced the glass with a shaky finger. "I promised my wife a road trip. Route 66, top down," he said. "Kept saying next year. Then cancer took her. Now I watch cars, wishing I'd driven." His voice broke and he turned away. Every passing sedan a stab of what he'd squandered. A woman, once a saver, clutched a photo of a Paris cafe she'd never seen. "I waited for retirement, stacked every dime," she said. "Got here, and my hips said no. Should have gone at 50. Her eyes were wet, her savings a taunt. She'd traded dreams for a nest egg she couldn't spend. Every story was a mirror. A guy who'd meant to call his estranged son died before the number dialed. A woman who'd planned to dance at her granddaughter's wedding, wheelchair-bound when the day came. They'd all bought the lie. "I've got time." Time laughed last. They'd waited to say sorry, waited to hug, waited to live, assuming tomorrow was a guarantee. It's not. I'd see them stare at clocks, faces carved with if only. If only they'd acted. If only they'd known how fast the sand falls. The clock's ticking, and it doesn't care. Here's the hammer: you're not promised 80, 70, or even tomorrow. Studies say it blunt. 50% of folks over 65 face a sudden health drop. Heart attacks, strokes, falls steal years overnight. I saw it. A man, 72, hale one week, bedridden the next, muttering about a boat he'd never sailed. Another, 80, planned a family reunion, died alone, date unbooked. Time doesn't warn. It strikes, and the regrets? They're knives. "I should have told my dad I loved him," one whispered. "Dad's been gone 10 years. "I should have seen Rome," another choked, now blind. The kicker? "You're wasting it now. Every later you mutter. Later I'll visit, later I'll try, later I'll live. It's a bet you'll lose." In that home, I met no one who regretted the risks they took, just the ones they didn't. The trips skipped, the I love yous unsaid, the dreams shelved, they festered, heavier than any illness. Time's a one-way street, and you're speeding down it blind. Stop waiting, or die wishing you hadn't. Quit kidding yourself. Act now. Call your mum, tell her she's your rock. Don't wait for Mother's Day, she might not make it. Book that flight. Hostels are $20 a night. You'll survive without a 5-star. Forgive your brother. Years of grudge weigh more than a 10-minute talk. Dance in your kitchen. Shaky legs beat a coffin. I started a scrapbook after that home. Photos, notes, proof I'm here. It's my fight against later. If you're 40, 50, 60, don't bank on 80. Live like 70's your cap. Walk that trail. Blisters heal, regrets don't. Tell your spouse they're enough. Words outlast diamonds. Volunteer. Some kid's smile today beats a blank tomorrow. In that home, they'd give anything for one more chance, one more hug, one more risk, one more day. You've got it now. Use it or lose it forever. The clock's not pausing. When it stops, someday turns to never, and that's a hell you'll carry to the grave. Spending 2 months in a nursing home changed the way I see life. I expected to see aging, but what I really saw was regret, wisdom, and the truth about what truly matters. Some people had lived fully, while others had let time slip away. And the hardest lesson of all, aging isn't just about getting older, it's about how well you've lived. If you're reading this, you still have time to change things. Call someone you've lost touch with. Take care of your health. Make memories instead of collecting things. Forgive, love, speak, live, because in the end, all you'll have left is the life you created. Make it one worth remembering. Which lesson spoke to you the most? Drop a comment and share your thoughts. And if this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Life is too short to learn these lessons too late. If you found this valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss content that helps you live better. Let's keep learning together.